Hello, welcome to round two. This is my second time recording this because last night I recorded this video and forgot to press record. So I did the entire episode without, sorry about the dog clicking. I left my dog out, so its nails need to be trimmed. Yeah, I went and pressed record, forgot to press record last night, so I recorded this entire episode. So I basically just have to do the same thing again. I was just gonna skip it, but I was like, man, I put a lot of work into this. But yeah, continuing the trend of episode 1, which was werewolves. The second episode is going to be samurai-based films. Every single one of the movies I'm about to do are all first-time watches for me. Which is cool. So my knowledge isn't super deep, so bear with me on that. I'm going to talk as much as I can about the films, but when you've only ever seen something once, it's hard to like give deep thoughts. Yeah, I know this is a genre that not a lot of people like. Or sorry, I shouldn't say like, just haven't seen anything, because even I was like, ooh, samurai films. Like, I have so many in my collection, but here's a quick tidbit of info. When I think samurai movies, I'm always thinking like epic scale battles and tons of fighting and martial arts and stuff like that, and that's not true. Most of the samurai films I'm about to talk about are all dramas. They're just like living the life of a samurai during feudal Japan for the most part. So they range all over the place. So I'll introduce the contestants. For anybody that hasn't ever seen a samurai movie, these I recommend sticking around just for the fun to see what I think about these. So the first one's Harakiri, Death of a Samurai. The Hidden Fortress. The Last Samurai. Ran. The Samurai Trilogy. 3 films here. All of them are going in. Kubo and the Two Strings. And from this double pack here from Criterion Collection, comes in a nice box here. This is Yojimbo and Sanjuro. And both of these are entering. So that's my first 10. First time watches for every single one, like I said. So, yeah, bear with me on info here. But I'm going to get this out right away. The way I'm planning on doing my first 10 rounds here, like I said in my first episode, is that after I get 10 rounds done, I'm going to put the winners all against each other, which I just think it's fun in a King of the Ring tournament. And I'm going to bounce back and forth. Like, one episode's going to be horror themed, and then the next episode's going to probably be non-horror, and then I'll bounce back to horror, non-horror, horror, non-horror. Just because my horror collection is probably my biggest. Like, this entire wall behind me is all horror, from the top to the bottom. And you can't even see the top 3 rows on this thing. On the camera. The camera doesn't pick up my top 3 rows. And then it goes all the way to the floor. So I have a lot of horror. So I'm probably going to bounce back and forth between horror episodes. But yeah, I'm going to get right into it here. In 10th place, I'm eliminating Samurai 3. The title, it's Samurai 3, Duel at Ganrio Island. Comes in this really nice Criterion Collection 3-pack here, just on Blu-ray. All 3 films. I'll show it off more once the whole thing either wins or gets eliminated. But this third one, I gave a 2 out of 5. This one is very highly acclaimed. Like on Letterboxd, I noticed it was sitting at like a 4.2 or something, which is pretty damn high. Like, but, and I can, here's the thing, I can understand because it does feel quality. Like the quality's there. I just couldn't get behind the characters in this one. Like, they weren't sucking me in. It follows the story of a samurai named Musashi Miyamoto, and he's a real life figure in ancient Japan, and he was an artist and a samurai and famous for a bunch of stuff. So it's his real life story, and it's kind of like a romance drama. Like there's 2 girls and him, and they're both in love with him. And it's hard to talk too much about the third one. I didn't realize it's tough because I don't want to, like, I can't talk about the first and second movie that lead into this one, but it's his continuous story through all 3 of the movies. And it's played by an actor named Toshiro Mifune. And this was my first time. He's in 6 of these movies. And so I looked him up and realized that he's like one of the most prestigious actors of all time. He's won Academy Awards, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and he's really good. So, but this third one, honestly, it didn't satisfy me to end the trilogy. I wasn't pumped. I found myself bored throughout the middle of the movie, like really bored. Like I was just like kind of hoping it would come to a close, kind of bored. It sucks. It leads to a good finale, like a good final battle. It's called Duel at Ganrio Island. And so the final duel that ends the trilogy, I did enjoy that. I did enjoy storyline there, but it's my number 10, 2. And then at number 9 is number 2 in this trilogy. Samurai 2, Duel at Ichijoji Temple. Ichijoji Temple. Duel at Ichijoji Temple. Say that 5 times fast, Jesus. Yeah, this one picks up right where the first ends off. I gave this a 2 again. A 2 out of 5. Both of these are this is a highly praised trilogy. But like I said in the first one, or for number 3, I couldn't get behind the characters. They didn't suck me in. I didn't really care. I didn't care for the women that were chasing him around through the movie. I just found his story to be too lacking in the samurai department, and it's just too much on the romance love story angle. It's at a certain point I was just kind of like, come on, like, get on with it. And this is the same thing. Ends with a good duel. The samurai stuff is all good. I enjoy that. But I'll talk more about this one when I eliminate the first one so I can finish. Or it wins. Who knows, right? Yeah, next up. In 8th place, we have Yojimbo. This is Akira Kurosawa. For those who don't know, he's another one of the most prestigious directors of all time. I'll start here. This is what I know. I don't, like I said, my knowledge base isn't deep on these, but he is very influential. This movie came out in 1961. And a lot of, well, it says right on the back actually, it says, the incomparable Toshiro Mifune stars in Akira Kurosawa's visually stunning and darkly comic Yojimbo. To rid a terror-stricken village of corruption, wily, masterless samurai Sanjuro turns a range war between two evil clans to his own advantage. Remade twice by Sergio Leone and Walter Hill, this exhilarating genre twister remains one of the most influential and entertaining films of all time. And this bumps up to a 4. So 2 2s, and my number 8 is already up to a 4. This, if anybody has ever seen the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood, that's Sergio Leone, who they're referencing here. This is pretty much the same thing as that. Yojimbo strolls into town, and both sides of this town are corrupt, and they're kind of at war with one another. And he just starts planting seeds of deceit, and he's just trying to get them both to take each other out, basically. And there is so many funny parts. I was laughing. There's a really cool part where he fights like a 7-foot tall giant samurai guy, and this guy kicks his ass, like just beats him to a bloody pulp, leaves him for death. And then in the final act of the movie, he comes back. He lives and he comes back to finish the job, basically. So it's got a really awesome final act, which I liked a lot. And there's just a lot of references. Like, it's just crazy that this laid the foundation for like so many filmmakers in the future to just copy, basically. This is the 4K and the Blu-ray, and it comes with a nice thick book. Tells all about the ins and outs of the movie, everything about it. It's an awesome dual pack. But yeah, Yojimbo. This is highly praised as well. This was sitting at like a 4.6 on Letterboxd or something like that. It was in the 4s area, and it was really high. So I was thinking, this is going to be phenomenal. And it was really good. It just didn't blow me away because I've seen the story before. Like, I've seen the Man with No Name trilogy a couple times. So it kind of sucked that it's the same storyline as that, because it made it feel like this was the one that felt unoriginal, even though this is the original. But yeah, Yojimbo sitting at number 8. And at number 7, this is from Laka Studios. This is Kubo and the Two Strings. This is the studio that brought you Coraline and Paranorman, and a couple others as well that I might talk about in the future. This was a first time watch for this, and I love Coraline and Paranorman. Phenomenal movies. So I had a lot of high hopes for this, and it ended up being a 4 from me. But this is a true example of what a samurai movie is. It's a great entry point for children or people that have no clue of what a samurai movie is. It's just deep storytelling and a lot of emotion and family orientated story. This one starts out, and Kubo is taking care of his mother, who tells him a story every night that his father was a great samurai that died saving them, and he was like the protector of the lands, and something's a little off with her, and then you find out that she has like dementia a little bit, like she's kind of losing it, so she just sits still for hours every day, and Kubo takes care of her, and it's really family orientated. And he goes to the local village, and that's when you realize that he has magical abilities, and he pulls out his two string guitar, and it's not a guitar. I can't remember what the name of the instrument is, but it's like a guitar. And he sets up all kinds of origami, which is like folded paper art. He sets it all up, and then when he plays his song, he tells stories to the village, and all the origami comes to life, and he has a magic ability to do this. And that's how he earns money for food to feed his mom and take care of them, basically. And then his evil aunts show up, and they burn the village to the ground, and the mother ends up dying. I don't know how much to spoil here. The mother ends up dying, but when she's about to die, she transfers her soul into a monkey. And you don't know this yet, though. Like, you're not supposed to know this in the story. It's revealed like halfway through the movie that the monkey's actually the mom. And their journey begins, and he goes on a journey to find out who his family is, why his aunts came and burnt the village down, what his mom never told him, basically. And they just go on a cross Japan journey. Beautiful artwork. Just awesome stuff. They run into this giant samurai beetle character voiced by Matthew McConaughey. We also got Charlize Theron plays the monkey's voice, his mom. Art Parkinson from Game of Thrones. He does Kubo's voice. Rafe Fiennes, Rooney Mara. Like, it's a stacked voice cast. Weird that it's all like white people in a Japanese movie, but I'll look past that. I highly recommend watching this, but I don't know, like, if you have kids, I'm not sure whether the kids would like it that much, because it's deep. Like, it's not just a fun, colorful movie. Like, there's some deep storyline elements and just about love and family and stuff, and it touches you, makes you think about what's important in life. But yeah, I would give it a try if you haven't seen it. It's a great entry point. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. It's not as good as Paranorman or Coraline, but it's worthy. That's my number 7. Then at number 6, we have the official elimination of the Samurai trilogy. This is another 4 out of 5 for me. This first one gave me a lot of hope. This is where I can talk more deeply about the whole thing. In this first one, Toshiro Mifune, his character here, him and his friend are trying to earn some money. They're like both a couple of barbaric losers, kind of. Like, they don't have anything going for them. But his friend is supposed to marry this girl. He's sworn to her, and Toshiro's character, the samurai, he wants to go join the war for his clan and go take down the bad guys. So he convinces his friend to do it. His friend asks his wife, I'm going off to war, will you wait for me for a year? There's some good story elements there. And then they lose the war immediately, basically. And their stories go in different directions. His friend kind of betrays him and leaves him. And his story, it just becomes, he's like a wild man trying to survive in the back country of Japan while being chased by enemies everywhere, basically. And there's a good storyline where he goes back to his friend's house, makes it back there, and to tell his friend's mother that his friend possibly died. He doesn't know what happened to him. He just disappeared in the middle of the night. And give his condolences and everything, and tell his wife. And then in the middle of the night while he's sleeping, his friend's mom sells him out to the local bad guys. So he's on the run again, and the wife asks to go with him. She needs out of here. So then their story begins, and it's a love story between the two. And it basically just builds up this really good storyline, and at the end, he starts to learn how to be more compassionate, just to be a better person, a samurai, have some honor. And so I was thinking, oh wow, this is good. So the second one's gonna fire up. It's gonna continue this story, but the second and third one just didn't go where I wanted it to. So this first one gets a 4 though. It's solid shit. Comes with first 2 movies on one disc, third movie on the other Blu-ray. Comes with a really thick book here that gives you the whole history of it. This one's directed by not Akira Kurosawa. This one is Hiroshi Inagaki. This is 1954, 55, and 56. So really early stuff here. But yeah, I would say give this a watch, this trilogy. Because, like I said, it's highly acclaimed by other people. It's just me that wasn't a huge fan. And the first movie's definitely worthy. So yeah, that's my number 6. Now we're cracking my top 5 here. Now, this was tough because my number 5th spot is a 4.5, and it's Sanjuro. This feels same thing, 4K Blu-ray, nice booklet, go with it. This feels a lot like it's the same character as Yojimbo, like he's just strolled into a different town this time. But this one is much funnier. Tons of good humor, actually. Like, there's this one clan that only has a few members left. They've been pushed to the brink of annihilation. And he's helping them. He's just a Ronin samurai. And they don't know whether to trust him, whether he's working for the other guys or not. But he keeps hatching these really good plans, and these other guys are a bunch of idiots, and they keep screwing up the plans constantly. And it basically just becomes a back and forth between the evil clan that's running this village in this town and these little guys that want their revenge. But it leads to a lot of like beautiful scenery with the Japanese flowers and all the stuff that you would think of when you think old classic Japan movies or anything Japanese artwork. Very beautiful scenes there. And this is Toshiro Mifune again, prizing Akira Kurosawa movie. And you can just feel the quality when you're watching it. Like, it just feels really good. I'm going to read you a synopsis on some, though, because, like I said, they're my first time watches, and I struggle to actually give you good enough definitions here. But it says, Toshiro Mifune swaggers and snarls to brilliant comic effect in Akira Kurosawa's tightly paced, beautifully composed Sanjuro. In this sly companion piece to Yojimbo, jaded samurai Sanjuro helps an idealistic group of young warriors weed out their clan's evil influences, and in the process turns their image of a proper samurai on its ear. Less brazen in tone than its predecessor, but equally entertaining, this classic character's return is a masterpiece in its own right. So yeah, 2 excellent films, a 4 and a 4.5. Definitely a worthy purchase, that 2-pack. Look excellent too. Black and white movies in 4K. Just some of them are just awesome. Like the Samurai trilogy looks really good too. But yeah, I won't go too deep and try and keep this episode shorter than normal, just because I know that this is a very niche episode genre. Next up, in 4th place, we have the American-made The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise and Hiroyuki Sanada, who's one of my favorite actors out of Japan. He's in tons and tons of stuff. He plays the lead role in Shogun. He's in Mortal Kombat, the remake. He's in all kinds of movies. You'd see him. He's in John Wick. He's also in Ringu, Japanese version. Excellent epic. This is a 4.5 again. This tells the story of a American general played by Tom Cruise who did some horrendous acts during a war when they were wiping out natives in America. And he just can't live with himself, so he's like an alcoholic, and he's doing side gigs for money, basically, in the U.S. And then the newly founded Japanese modern government comes, and they hire him to come train their army so that they can take out and kill all the remaining samurai in Japan. And it becomes like a new world versus the old world type movie. So Tom Cruise accepts, and he goes and he trains them all, and then on his first battle against them, they get slaughtered by the samurai. And they take Tom Cruise hostage. And they bring him back to their camp, and that's when the movie kind of begins. And it just tells the story of what it would have been like to live during the samurai times as a samurai, and the women and the kids, and just gives you it's like a deep history lesson. And it all leads up to a very epic battle at the end. It's all out war, man. It's guns and stuff versus ancient samurai. Like, we're talking cannons versus a bunch of dudes on horseback with swords and bows and arrows. And it's just really, really good. It's freaking tear-jerking, and just good humanity storytelling here. I don't know. Can't praise it enough. This is also a great starting point if you've never seen one, because it's American, so you don't have to read the subtitles so much. There's a little bit, but not a whole lot. There's also a great storyline where when Tom Cruise first gets brought back to the village, this woman is taking care of him, and he finds out that it's the wife of one of the samurai that he killed on the battlefield. And so he's living in the house with the wife and the children of a man he killed. And it gives a good story about how she can forgive somebody for doing that, and it's good stuff. Must be seen. Excellent. And then in third place, we have another Akira Kurosawa epic here. This is The Hidden Fortress. Another 4.5 from me. This is as close to a 5 as you can possibly get. There's only one reason why I didn't give it a 5, and that's because, like I said before, Akira Kurosawa laid the foundation for so many directors to come with their storytelling. And this one is stolen by George Lucas to make his Star Wars movies. Because it feels so much like Star Wars, it's kind of crazy. And I didn't know this going in. I was watching it going, sort of feels really Star Wars-like. And then at the end, I read the book and read the back of the case, and it says, a grand-scale adventure as only Akira Kurosawa could make one. The Hidden Fortress stars the inimitable Toshiro Mifune as a general charged with guarding his defeated clan's princess. As the two smuggle royal treasure across hostile territory, accompanying them are a pair of bumbling, conniving peasants who may or may not be their friends. This rip-roaring ride is among the director's most beloved films and was a primary influence on George Lucas's Star Wars. The Hidden Fortress delivers Kurosawa's trademark deft blend of wry humor and breathtaking action and compassionate humanity. Excellent shit here. These two guys are just losers, pieces of shit, basically. And the first half hour of the movie, it's just following these two guys and they're stealing shit off dead bodies on the battlefield, and they're just scavengers. And there's lots of humor with them. Like, I found myself laughing constantly. There's one part where they're just down on their luck, they're throwing a tantrum. They're both laying on the ground, and the one guy's just making fun of his friend. He's just like, "I hate your eyes, the way you blink, and you're just always doing this." And like, they're just really down on the luck. And then they run into Toshiro Mifune's character, and he's a samurai, and he's really hard ass, like he always plays. Just a hard ass man. And he tries to teach these guys to be better. And then they see the woman. And they're like trying to turn her over. You find out that she's the princess of the kingdom and needs to be put back on the throne because the evil empire has taken Japan. And so they go on a cross-Japan adventure, running into all kinds of awesome shit. Like, it's so good. There's a fucking duel in this that is, like, amongst one of the greatest I've ever seen. I loved it. There's lots of deep storytelling. It's just really, yet again, humanity-based. Just feel-good type movie. Hidden Fortress comes with a nice, beautiful book. Nice, beautiful artwork, too, on this. This is just the Blu-ray. God, Criterion really gives these samurai films the once-over. Or the once-over, the great treatment. This is 1958, and this is 140 minutes, so this is longer. But it doesn't feel it. Like, you're in for the whole ride. There's nothing you're not sucked in here. The reason why I gave it a 4.5 and not a 5, and it's the lead actress that plays this princess role. How do I say this without being too mean? Her voice is irritating. It feels like Japanese anime voice while everybody else is normal. It kind of threw me off a bit. I was just kind of like, is this girl a cartoon character? Like, it doesn't feel proper. She comes off as a spoiled little teenage brat, but she isn't. And that part irritated me a bit. So that's why it goes down to a 4.5, because if I find myself slightly irritated at all in a movie, it's never going to be a 5 for me. But that's it. That's my only complaint. Everything else is perfection. Now, my top 2 here. I have my most modern one. This came out in like 2011. And Ran came out in 1985, the year I was born. This was tough. These are both 5s for me. Now, Ran is one of the most highly acclaimed movies of all time. If you go on lists, it's usually in like top 100 movies ever made lists. Now, and Harakiri is sitting at like a 2.2 or something stupid on Letterboxd. I have no idea how that's possible. Now, I'm going to say that Ran wins my first samurai episode here. This is going to be my number 2, a 5 out of 5. This is directed by Takashi Miike, the same director that did Audition, the horror movie, and you can really tell that this is directed by him. There's gut-wrenching gore in this. A couple scenes of it, not a ton, but a couple scenes that were just like, oh, I could barely even look. Deep, depressing shit. That's what this is. When this movie ended, I just felt like I was just like, like just flabbergasted. I couldn't believe just how dark and unpleasant and unhappy and not anything nice about this. This is like one of the bleakest movies I've ever seen. It's fucking brutal. It starts out, do I even want to give anything away here? 5 out of 5. Like, this is a must-see. It starts out, and this young guy, I'll just give a quick sum up. He's at the local rulers of his village. He's at their house, and he's claiming that he's a samurai, and that he wants to commit seppuku. That's it, right? Seppuku? Can't remember this. It's suicide, where you cut your stomach open and everything. And because his clan was annihilated and he's the only one left. And then they cut to the courtyard after some storyline, and he's sitting out in there, and it's just beautiful scenery, by the way. It's phenomenally shot. Like, some of the best work I've seen in any of these samurai movies is right here. And they're gonna make him do it, and then you realize that he was just pretending because he wanted money. He was hoping that they would feel bad for his story, and they would back out of it, and he maybe hire him and pay him so he could make money. You find that out later. But what you witness in this opening scene is one of the most brutal suicides of all time. It's fucking nasty, man. They give him, or he has a wooden sword, and he's trying to stab it into his stomach, and it won't go, so he's just ramming it. And this scene goes on. Like, this is like 5 minutes of torture. And it breaks in half, and he's putting it into the ground. He's ramming his stomach into it, and it's just nasty. And you feel almost sick from it and bad for him. And then it cuts to another character, an older man, that shows up, and he's doing the same thing. And it's the same clan he's dealing with and everything. And as they bring him out into the same spot where this other guy committed it, I'm thinking to myself, like, what is this? This movie just going to be a movie of watching people kill themselves? Like, what the fuck's going on here? But then you realize that something's up with this guy. And it cuts to backstory. And that's where the core of the movie starts now. And it gives the whole backstory of what's going on here. And it's a man, his son, his daughter, and his grandchild. And what happens is, I don't want to spoil much. It's just a story of starvation and not having anything and being poor and life just being the absolute shit. That's what I'll say. There is some scenes in this that had tears just rolling down my fucking face. I was like, what in the hell did I get myself into? This is brutal shit. I could not help but to give this a 5. I don't think it deserves anything less. And I think anybody that watches this and doesn't come away flabbergasted and just like just the way it's shot, like the snowfall scenes, everything's just so beautiful. Beautifully haunting story. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Must grab that one. But it's going up against one of the all-time greatest films. This was a first-time watch. It's Akira Kurosawa again. And this is from the Studio Canal collection. Kind of a difficult movie to get your hands on, actually. Just the Blu-ray. And it comes with its booklet again. This is the longest movie here. This is coming in at almost 3 hours. It's a watch. This is a beast. But this tells the story. It's kind of like Fall of the House of Usher, sort of. It tells the story of the downfall of an entire clan. And that might sound simple and dumb, but the way that they do it to get there is so well done. It starts out with about a 20-minute scene with the father of this clan. Can't remember his damn name. It says it's a retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear, mixed with Japanese history. So I didn't know that. My literature's a little weak. I'm not super smart, but I'm learning. I'm trying. I'm watching things I've never seen before and learning shit. This won multiple Oscars. It doesn't really give you much on the back about what the movie is, so I'm just gonna have to explain it. Starts out with the father of this tribe, or this clan, and he's basically conquered most of Japan. Like, he's old, and he's ready to pass it on to his 3 sons. And when he does that, they start bickering and fighting. And this old man's starting to suffer from, like, dementia, and just, he needs to step away, basically. So he passes it to his biggest castle to his oldest son, his second biggest castle to his second son, and then his third biggest castle to his third son. And they immediately show their awful sides. Corruption begins immediately. And I won't give much more than that. It's just they all go back to their castles, represented by 3 different colors. The colors in this movie are awesome. It's blue, red, and yellow to represent each of the sons and their armies. Super gory, super bloody. Love that. But this is all about the deep storytelling. Like, it's really fucking good. I'll give one brother's story. In his castle, there's a girl, and she's really creepy and cool looking, like grudge-like, like just really cool. Awesome character. Possibly the best character in the movie, in my opinion. But she is, like, having sex with this guy. He's married. She's just manipulating the fuck out of him. And she's convincing him to do things that are just terrible. Like, chop his own wife's head off and deliver it to her. Shit like this. And she's using her sexuality to get what she wants. And you'd have no clue why. Well, in her storyline, you find out that she is just trying to bring this house down. She's trying to get rid of this family because she is the only survivor of the castle this brother's living in and owns now. Because their father went there, raped, pillaged, killed everybody in the castle. Her whole family died in front of her. And she's just on a revenge mission. And that's how his story basically concludes. But there's 2 other brothers. And the father in this is some unreal acting from this guy. Don't even know his name. He probably ain't going to tell me. There's not much info on the back here. It's just a whole bunch of people's names, and I don't know who's who. So I won't even go there. But he is just... Some of the facial expressions are like straight from a horror movie. Like, it's creepy as shit. But man, is this a masterpiece. This is a 5 out of 5. This has the possibility of maybe making my top 100 movies of all time. I don't know. I would have to give it multiple viewings before I could make a judgment like that. But it has to be my winner. As much as I love this of Harakiri, which is also a remake of a classic as well, which I haven't seen. That'll probably be in a future episode, if I do a second Samurai episode eventually, which I probably will because I have a shit ton of them. But Ran is an absolute must grab. It's a must-have in everybody's collection. It's a masterpiece. And it's my number 2 winner. So it is going in the finals. In the final 10. The only other movie that's in my final 10 so far is The Wolfman from 2010. That won my first episode. So, thank you, obviously, for sticking through that if you did. And give you a sneak preview of my next episode. It's going to be zombie movies. 10 zombie movies with the word zombie in the title. That's what I'm going with, because I have a fuckload of zombie movies. So my first round of 10 zombie movies is going to be films that have zombie in the title. That will be my next episode. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.